Hey, what's going on, you guys? Back at you with a very special video of Rodney watches fake news, and I guess there was some press briefing shenanigans going down because I've seen everybody on Twitter go wild about how disrespectful they were to Jean Pierre something. I forget. I can never say her name because I really don't care. But let's dive into it. Please like the video, sub to the channel, and let's go. Let's watch some fake news. All right, where's our girl at? Where's the spokesperson of the United States at? The person with the hardest job in the world. Imagine having to lie for these people all the time, dude. I can't lie. I'm a terrible liar, so watching her do her job just literally gives me the worst anxiety ever. Oh, this guy's funny. This guy kind of looks like he's related to me. He's funny. I think his name's Peter. Oh, this would be the best job ever, just sitting right there and grilling her. Come on, here we go.
Good afternoon,
He's
everybody.
like,
Hello.
Another day.
Happy Monday. It's going to be a
Silent.
great week.
Is it?
I have very long things, long toppers at the top.
First of all, we
Just
gave
warning you
$90
all,
billion
no falling
to
asleep,
Ukraine
please.
this morning.
Okay, so we've gotten more strong economic news in recent days.
That means we have
On
more
Friday,
money to give to Israel.
Our economy created more than 200,000 jobs last month under
they were in
President Biden's
China.
leadership. We have now created a total of 15.7 million jobs over the last 3.5
Wow.
years. Yesterday, a record 3 million travelers were screened at airports, a sign that our economy is strong and
Just
Americans are back on the road for the
screened?
summer in
What does that
record
even mean?
numbers. Speaking of which,
scanned in
last
that thing
week
giving
we
you
sold
testicular
1
cancer?
million barrels of gasoline to help lower gas prices ahead of the 4th of July.
Oh, so you
which
did the
saw
thing that Trump was trying to
lowest
do.
gas prices in 3 years.
Wow.
And today, a new report from the Economic Innovation Group
Basically, since you
highlighted
took office.
what the New York Times called a, quote, a remarkable comeback under President Biden. That report
Yeah, you're
found
just
that
coming all over
communities
our backs
that have been lifted behind
and stabbing
struggled
it.
under the last administration, what the Times called a particularly
I love how they
grim
always blame
stretch
Trump like he's
under
still in
Donald
charge.
Trump.
Like they still
But
talk like
those
they're
communities
campaigning.
are
Like,
coming
bro,
back
you're the
under
ones in
President
charge.
Biden, with jobs growing more than 4 times faster than in the previous 4
God.
years.
Biden, the only thing he's
Investments
growing
spurred
is an
by the
appetite for
president's
milk and
Investing in
cookies.
America agenda are benefiting previously left behind communities.
All right, now talk about his
That's
dementia.
just some of the economic progress happening under President Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out for more news in the coming days.
Oh,
Exciting.
we're looking forward to
And next, I want to
Ukraine.
share highlights from the president's recent schedule, as well as looking ahead to the next 2 weeks.
First, he took
So
a
over
nap.
the last 10 days,
Second,
President Biden has
we had
been
somebody
hitting
chew
the
his
road
food for
and
him.
meeting directly with the
Third,
American people,
he
as
popped
well
the
as continuing
Viagra.
his job as leader of the country.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
2 days after the debate, he met with supporters in Atlanta, Raleigh, New York, and New Jersey.
Yeah, and he went to that black
Last
church.
week,
You guys see
he
that?
delivered remarks on the Supreme Court, visited the D.C. Emergency Operations Center for a briefing on extreme weather events, hosted a Medal
And he
of
doesn't
Honor
remember
ceremony, and joined
any
the
of it.
First Lady for a 4th of July barbecue with active
Dr. Jill.
duty military service members and their families. Throughout the week, the president also
You think she
spoke
has a
with
cocaine
leaders of
habit?
the
I think she
UK,
does.
United Kingdom,
There's no way you get
Israel,
through this job
and
otherwise.
the Republic of South Africa. On Friday, the president traveled to Madison, Wisconsin.
Like, I
for
dread
a
getting in front of this
campaign
camera
rally.
sometimes
On
and getting in front of
Sunday,
you
just
degenerates.
yesterday, he held numerous
She's got to
events
sit here
across
in person,
Pennsylvania with
and I get to say
elected
whatever I
officials,
want, and
including
she's got to
Governor
sit there and
Shapiro,
lie for
Senator
Biden.
Fetterman,
That's
and
crazy.
Congresswoman Madeleine Dean.
Fetterman's actually
He
making a lot more
participated
sense.
in interviews, including joining Morning Joe just this morning. And throughout, the president has engaged with elected leaders, including members of Congress, governors, and local officials. This week, President Biden will speak to national labor leaders of AFL-CIO,
She's trying so hard to compensate,
host
you
the
know.
NATO summit to show the unprecedented strength
That's like
of our
me going,
alliance,
"No, my-"
hold a press conference, a big boy
I don't know, I was
press
gonna make a
conference,
dick joke,
according to
but
Justin Sink from Bloomberg.
it'd be a long
who's
story.
Not here, but Josh, you are here. I
Oh.
see you. So that will happen on Thursday, and travel to Michigan on Friday for a campaign event. And
It's gonna be like,
next
all right,
week,
look at Detroit.
he will
Let's make the
travel
whole
to
country
Texas
that.
and Las Vegas.
Please don't.
On July 15th, he will commemorate
don't
the
come to
65th
Texas.
anniversary of the Civil Rights Act at the LBJ Presidential
like, oh, y'all
Library
super
in
predators, get
Austin,
back to
Texas.
where you
He
came
will
from.
highlight the Biden-Harris administration's progress advancing civil rights and his vision to bring America together. On July 16th, he will address the 115th
Yeah, nothing like calling
NAACP
51% of the
National
country
Convention in Las Vegas,
conspiracy theorists and
emphasizing
terrorists.
the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to advancing racial justice and equity for all Americans, including Black Americans. On July 17th, he will speak to the UNODOS.
He's just gonna tell them all to go
annual
move to Kenya.
conference where he will underline the
gonna have a slip
Biden-Harris
up.
administration's historic accomplishments, including lowering prescription
Including
drug costs
locking
for
up a
America's
bunch of black people for
seniors,
weed in
lowering
San
the
Francisco
Latino
for 10 years.
uninsured rate, and creating a Latino small business boom. And finally, I just mentioned the U.S. is going to
Latinos
be hosting
should be
the
surrogates.
75th summit, the NATO summit, right here in the United States, obviously. In
Okay, now
Washington,
talk about
D.C.
the
this week.
dementia.
NATO is the most powerful and capable alliance.
Tell
in the
us what the
world,
drugs
and
are.
President Biden is proud.
We need to
very
know
proud
what
to
the
have worked to
drugs are.
strengthen it and also expand it. So with that, the Admiral
Imagine
from the
being
National Security Council is here
non-demented and
to
getting the
take your
Joe Biden
questions on
drugs, dude. It's like limitless.
I do have a few things to get through, so.
We don't give a fuck. We want to
An
hear
event
from...
with President Zelensky and nearly 24 of our allies and partners who have signed bilateral security agreements with Ukraine, just as the president did.
Fuck
Looks
Ukraine.
Like depends on an awful lot of factors. Right now, you got a war going on inside Ukraine, and the focus rightly's got to be on helping them win that war.
Yeah, let's just
and
keep
we are, as I
prolonging it.
detailed in my opening statement. Number two, for any country
I'm
that
just
wants
sitting
to
here with
join
my little
NATO,
pink tie,
any
not
country,
doing
and
anything.
It's an alliance
But
of
I'd say we should give all your tax money while our own
Democracies have to
veterans
meet
are dying
certain,
from all the previous wars, you know,
certain
because
guidelines,
Vietnam was some bullshit,
particularly when it comes
Desert
to
Storm was
governance.
bullshit,
And we
Iraq
are
was
and will
bullshit.
continue to work with
All the
Ukraine
wars we
on
always do are
reforms that are
complete
necessary
bullshit,
for any
but we
democracy
still
that
need to
wants
keep
be a
paying
member
for all these wars
of NATO.
because
And then the
that's what
third
we
thing I'd say
do.
is
Shut up.
That actually half
to Ukraine. We're
Oh my
doing
God,
that.
he's still
Other
talking.
nations
Thereafter, I mean, those are
here in the United States, and it's not going to change our strong relationship with France. It's not going to change the fact that France is a valued NATO ally, and the president's looking forward
France
to
is
continuing to work with
fallen,
President
dude.
Macron and the entire team.
All right, last question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Corinne. Thank you, Admiral. I was just wondering, with the renewed spotlight and scrutiny on President Biden in public settings this week, how he's preparing for the NATO summit, how you
Yeah.
guys are deciding how many questions to take at the press conference.
He's trying to find the slimmest diaper
You
he
got to
can
ask the press
find.
secretary that one.
You're the one who's prepping him for a lot of this on matters of national security and foreign policy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a team effort.
God, dude.
Yeah, I will let Corinne talk about the press conference, the big boy press conference that y'all are planning to have. But he has already had discussions with his national security team in the lead up to the summit, as you might expect that he would. He's reviewing material.
And he
He's
doesn't
doing his homework
remember
and getting
any
ready.
of it.
He's
Elder
got,
abuse.
the first major set of remarks tomorrow night at the Mellon Auditorium. He's working his way through those remarks as you would expect him to do, and he's getting ready for the at least the two bilateral meetings that we know he's going to have specifically with the new Prime Minister of the UK and with President Zelensky later in the week. So, what I have seen from my perch is the normal amount of preparatory work that he does before a major international conference. No different than how he prepared for the G7 or for the events in Normandy or previous international forums.
Yeah, well, maybe he should do something else
from what I've
because
seen.
it's not...
Expect Vice President Harris to play a role in the events this week or to take any meetings during the time that she'll be
I
watching?
can't speak for the vice president's staff and team, but I can have them get back to you about what her schedule is going to look like.
But I won't do that
Appreciate it. Thank you.
because
Thank
I'm
you so
busy
much.
giving all our money to
Thank you, Admiral.
Ukraine.
Okay, well,
She's like, oh, fuck, let's
all
get
of the
through
big
this.
questions have been answered. Press conference answered. Let me close my book and get out of here. Hi, Zeke.
Thanks, Corinne. My first to you is on the credibility of this White House when it comes to talking about the president's health. When you were here last Tuesday, you were asked if the president had had any medical examinations since his physical in February or that included the time period after the debate. You said flatly no. 3 days later, you admitted the president had a quote, short check-in with the medical team.
Gotcha,
thereafter.
bitch.
I mean, those are two very different answers.
No. Actually, if you were to listen to the, I think I did a 30-minute
Oh, she's being
gaggle
sassy.
on Friday, 30 minutes with, I think it was with the pool. And
But I
and
don't blame
said
her, you
he
know?
didn't-
I don't agree with a fucking thing she ever says or does or anything, but there's a sense of me that has compassion for her because of her job having to lie for these people. Like, it's her job, you know? At least she's not working for big tobacco. At least she's working for big dementia, you know?
Not have a med. I cleared it up. You're right. You're correct. I said he didn't. I still stand, but he didn't have a medical exam.
She's like, I can't wait to get home
I said
tonight
that
and eat
in
my
the
wife's
gaggle, and
pussy.
you're right,
This
I
is
said that in the
terrible.
briefing. He had a check-in with, and he said this on Friday. He had a check-in with his medical doctor, which is something that he does a couple times a week, as you know, and I say I
Yeah, they
stated
got
this
to
as well.
check his
He
prostate.
has, for those who don't know, obviously outside of the briefing room, outside of the White House, many Americans don't actually understand this, so let's take a step back. They deal with their
yes,
medical issues or
See how condescending they are. You know what I mean? They're such like patronizing people.
physicals very, very differently. They are very,
They're like, people don't understand. Most people don't understand. Nobody understands. We understand. Trust us. You don't need to think for yourself because you don't understand. Just do everything that we say.
lucky if they get to see their doctor once or twice a year, right? They have to get in a car, they have to either take public transportation in order to make that happen. The president's medical unit is literally down on the other side of the colonnade, is just down the steps from the residence, and so a couple times a week he does a check-in, a verbal check-in with his doctor while he's exercising. That is something that happens often. Matter of fact, he did a check-in today because
Damn, that
I know
doctor
folks were
needs a
gonna ask about if
podcast.
he was tested for COVID. He was not. We are following CDC guidance. He was not tested for COVID. Just to let you guys know about that one. And if he has any symptoms, obviously we would test him.
Is that
But
in the context of the second gentleman's diagnosis?
yes, which is why. No. It's in context of the second gentleman. But to answer your point, he did not have a medical
What a
exam.
gay
He did
term,
not
the
have a
second
physical.
gentleman.
He did do like a verbal check-in with his doctor a couple days after the debate, and it was very quick. It was a couple of words that were spoken to each other, and that's how we were able to give you that answer. But he did not
Biden
have
walked
a
in, was like,
medical
ho, ho,
exam.
ho.
He did not have a physical.
Happy Independence Day. I can't get a boner.
Did you know about that verbal check-in, or
No.
did we just not ask him that precise enough question?
So the line of questions that I was getting that day was in the way that I was hearing the question was about the medical exam. I answered MJ's question when she asked me medical exam, and I answered and I said no, physical. And then somebody else asked me, was there a check-in? I did not mean to steer anybody wrong. I was still thinking about the medical exam. I was still thinking about the physical. That's how I answered the question. And then when it became, when the president actually spoke to it, I went back, asked the medical doctor, and he said they had a verbal check-in. That's what he said. But in answering the question, I was talking about the medical exam. I was talking about the physical.
And then two quick ones. There's been a lot of reporting in the last 24
Sure.
hours about a Parkinson's expert who's come to visit the White House almost a dozen times over the last year or so, including at least one meeting with the president's physician. Could you state, like, very clearly, yes or no, was that expert here to participate in anything surrounding the care of the president of the United States?
So let me just say
Damn.
a couple of things. We have had
She can't say yes or no.
comprehensive, and I just want to take another step back, comprehensive physical examination.
Let's see, what are the signs of Parkinson's? The motor symptoms and non-motor symptoms. I mean, if somebody told me, okay, yeah, the president has Parkinson's, like, I would totally understand. I mean, he's fucking, what, 90 years old? So it's like, does it affect your, like, cognitive abilities, though? Tremors, loss of smell, trouble sleeping, trouble moving, walking, constipation, soft or low voice. I mean, dizziness, fainting. I mean, it sounds like he has all of these. And so if he has Parkinson's, if it's not affecting his decision making, like, promote that, you know? Lean into it.
The president has had that. We've given a comprehensive report. We've shared that the past 3 years. Every year that he has had this exam, he sees a neurologist. And just to give you a quote from that From the report most recently in February, an extremely detailed neurological exam was again reassuring in that there were no findings which would be consistent with any cerebellar or other central neurological disorders such as a stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, or ascending lateral sclerosis, end quote. So that
She did
came
not
directly
mention
from
dementia.
in February in that comprehensive report
That's what somebody
that
should
was
say, like-
provided by the president's doctor to me, that I share with all of you. So anyone who is watching can certainly go to our website.
Question, which was this expert's visits, was multiple visits to the White House pertaining at all to the president's
Well,
care?
here's the thing. I've said he has had.
Here's the
three-
thing. I'm not going to
he has
answer the
had
question.
Three physicals. In those three physicals, that's when he has seen a specialist, a neurological specialist.
The president?
I have to be super mindful here, and this is why, and I'll explain this.
Because
to
I
you in
get paid a
second.
lot
There
of
are
money?
Thousands of military personnel who come onto this White House. Many of them get the care from the White House medical unit, and so need to be super careful. There are, the medical unit hosts a wide range of specialists, from dermatologists to neurologists, and so I cannot speak to
Damn, that
every
was shade at
person because
dermatologists.
there's actually a security reasons to protect their privacy. We respect and protect.
Us pasty boys respect you,
So do not
dermatologists.
want to share. I'm not going to share people's names from here, but the president, I can tell you, has seen a neurologist 3 times, as it's connected to a physical that he gets every year that we provide to all of you.
It's a very basic, direct question.
Wait, hold on, wait
Come to the White House
wait a second.
8 times, or at least once, in regards to
I
the
just,
president
wait,
specifically.
hold on a
That
second.
much you should be able to answer by this point.
Wait,
After
no,
4 days of
no.
reporting about it.
No, wait a minute. Ed, please. A little respect here, please.
Oh, man, I
So,
feel for her.
every year,
Dude, I feel for her.
around the president's physical
It's like,
examination.
you ever worked a customer service job where it's like you got to act by like the corporate bullshit rules? Otherwise, they're going to yell at you. Then you also getting yelled at by the public. That's her job. She's got the worst customer service job of all time.
He sees a neurologist. That's 3 times, right? So I am
Like she's got a rep for Biden and she's got to deal with people.
telling you that he has seen a neurologist
Like she doesn't get to just chill behind her lizard person desk. She's got to be out here like showing face and answering questions.
3 times while he has been in this presidency. That's what I'm saying.
White House or Walter Reed?
I'm telling you that he has seen them 3 times. That is what I'm sharing with you, right? So every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
No, it's not.
No, it is. It is.
Did
You're
Dr.
asking me.
Kevin Kennard come to the White House
But I
specifically about
also
the
said to you,
president's condition?
Ed, I also said to you, for security reasons, we cannot share names. We cannot share names.
You cannot
We
share
have to
names
we have
of
to
others he would have met with.
we
but
cannot
you can share names
No,
in regards to if
We-
someone came here in
no,
regards to
we
the
cannot
president.
share. We cannot share names of specialists broadly, from a dermatologist to a neurologist. We cannot share names. There are security reasons. We
No,
have
White
to.
House visitor.
We have to protect.
It's public.
I understand
I
that.
looked it up before I came out here.
hear
It's
you.
right there for anyone to see.
Ed, I hear you. I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy. I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them.
Patient or the doctor?
We have to keep their privacy.
It is
It's
public.
public information.
I
It is
hear you.
listed that he
I
went
am.
to
And you're
the
going to allow
guys,
this to fester longer, Kareem,
guys,
unless the White House
guys,
answers the
hold on a
question.
second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this
We're a
aggressive
little
way.
miffed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What do you missed about? What do you miss
Everything
about?
he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that
And
you guys
answered it
asked.
correctly, you didn't have to come back and clean it
I
up.
never
2 days
answered the
later.
question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered. And I said, no, he did not have a medical
Oh, this
exam.
poor
And I still
girl's so
stand
over
by
her
that.
head,
Matter of fact,
dude.
the president still stands by that. He had a verbal check-in. That is something that the president has a couple times a week. A couple times a week.
Now in regards to Dr. Kevin Kennard.
And I am telling you right now that I am not sharing confirming names from here. It is a security reasons. I am not going to do that, Ed. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me. I'm not going to confirm a name. It doesn't matter if it's even in the log. I am not going to do that from here. That is not something I am going to do. What I can share with you is that the president has seen a neurologist for his physical 3 times. 3 times.
I wonder if they do
And it
that
is
thing where
in
they grab
the
his
reporting
balls and they make
that
him
we
cough.
share a
Like the
comprehensive
president's
reporting.
balls probably hang
Matter
down
of
to his
fact,
knees.
It's more than what the last
Probably
guy
hangs
shared.
down worse
and
than
it
like
is
his
in
butt chin,
line
you know?
with what
Kind of looks like he has a
George
nutsack on his
George
chin.
W. Bush did. It's in line with what Obama did. And so it is comprehensive. It is out there. I just read a quote from it.
Trump
but
didn't
I
need
am
it 'cause it's
not-
got all the Diet
I am
Coke killing
not
all the Parkinson's
going
in
to
him.
devolve somebody's name or confirm someone. I'm not going to do that. That is as privacy for that person. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me from here. I'm just not going to do that. It is inappropriate. It is not acceptable. So I'm not going to do
Because
it.
I got to protect my.
If you cannot confirm the name, can you confirm whether or not the president has seen this Parkinson's specialist? And you mentioned 3 times, but the visitor logs show a duration of 8 visits over 8 months. I think that is the crux of the question.
But I also said there are
We don't care what you said.
thousands
Answer the question.
of military personnel that come to the White House.
But has
and
the
they are
president
under
seen
the
him?
Care of the medical unit. They are.
Can you confirm that the Parkinson's visits, specialist visits, were for the president or not?
What I can tell you is that the president has seen a neurologist 3 times, and I read to you what the neurologist has said, and I read to you the last line. I could say it again. No findings which would be consistent with any cerebellar or other central neurological disorders such as stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, or ascending lateral sclerosis. That is from February. That is coming from February.
Yeah,
That
and
is
it's
what the
fucking
medical
July,
unit that the
dude.
president's
What about
doctor
dementia?
shared. And I said to you, it's happened 3 times. Each time there is a physical that occurs, and we put out a comprehensive report. That is when he has been able to see a specialist. So that's what I can share.
Question on this. Has the president, you mentioned Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, all of these things. One diagnosis that we have heard of, potential diagnosis, is hydrocephalus, which is fluid buildup in the brain. It's something we've never heard in any of the medical reports. Is that something that the president has been evaluating?
If it's not in the medical report, obviously it's not something that the president is dealing with. Well, I can tell you this. Just
This
going
is
back
so
to Parkinson's for a
awkward.
little bit, so to give you some answers here, has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No. So those are the things that I can give you full-blown answers on. But I'm not going to confirm a specialist, any specialist that comes to the White House out of privacy.
Question is, will the president go to the Hill today? I know we saw his letter. Is he intending to have this conversation face to face with him?
So look, the president, obviously this is someone
no
who
idea what
is
he's doing.
a senator for 36 years, who was the president of the Senate as when he was vice president for 8 years. And he truly respects the members of Congress, and has always and will always do that, especially as a former senator. And I will say, and you've heard us say this before, or most recently, is this is a president who's won the primary, right, by 14 million votes.
Who gives a shit?
Physician. We feel like there is more to be said there, and that's what we're asking.
Damn.
Watching and have been watching this briefing for this past week could say that we are doing our best in this briefing to provide the information that we have. And I will admit, I will be the first one to admit, sometimes I get it wrong. At least I admit that. At least I admit that. And sometimes I don't have the information. And I will always, always admit that.
She's
But I
giving
do
herself
take
some
offense.
cushion so she can just not give an answer, then come back with the answer to the thing that they just asked her. It's just she can give herself a time and congregate with her people to come back with a bullshit ass gaslighting answer.
To what was just happening at the beginning of this briefing, it's not okay. Go ahead.
We are seeking clarity.
I understand that.
And I think what we're trying to say is when a name is in a public record on a waives form, that it is in the public domain.
Yep.
The president could authorize that his medical records or additional medical information could be made public because he could waive HIPAA, he could do those things.
Yep.
And if he chooses to do that, we would like to know more. Part of the reason we are pressing here is that we are not clear on what has happened, and therefore the American people to whom we report don't have a sense of it. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And
But
so,
the personal attacks is not okay.
and we want to have a
Just want to be
positive.
very, very clear here.
So the question is, one question is, after a debate that drew days and days and days of scrutiny, why hasn't the president had an in-person physical check-in, maybe blood work, maybe other things, because when he said he was seen, I certainly thought he had been physically seen, not a phone check-in. So and that's part of what we're saying about how information comes out in waves, and then we may have a different impression. So
And I totally
this
understand that.
dominated
But you
his
don't.
presidency for 10
Well, you
days.
do, but-
And he could submit to another exam, a full exam, partial exam, whatever. He can waive his right to make things public. None of us are asking about the military members who might be seeing a physician here. None of us. We are only asking about the president's will.
Damn, this chick's cooking.
And so that's why we want to understand. When you see on the public records that a physician with his specialty has come to the White House, gone to the residence clinic, and met with the president's physician, we feel like there is more to be said there, and that's what we're asking.
And I understand that, Kelly-O, and you know I respect you wholeheartedly, and I've known you for some time. We want to be also, because we are talking about someone whose name who is out there, and I understand. I get it. It's in the log. I get that. It's in the log. We want to respect that person and give them the measure of privacy that they deserve. The moment I say anything about any specialist, it becomes a thing from this podium. So what I can share, and this is what I can share, he has seen a neurologist 3 times. 3 times.
Can you imagine trying to, like...
Not more than that.
It's a good thing this chick doesn't like men, because whoever she'd be married to would probably delete himself trying to have an argument with her. Imagine having an argument about, like, setting out the beef to thaw or something like that, you know? She, like, you know, if you ask her to do something, or she does, I don't know. Having an argument with this woman, I would literally just throw myself off a cliff.
Not more than that. He's seen a neurologist 3 times. And that is connected to the physical.
I mean, it's just so crazy. They've been here for 2 hours and they just keep going around. Like, it's just such a waste of time, you know?
Comprehensive physical that we have been able to share with you. So I think that gives you some information about how many times. 3 times. And the reason why I am sharing that there are thousands of military personnel, so you also have an understanding, because there are 1,000 military personnel that comes here, and that not just comes here, but under the care of the medical
I'm
unit,
gonna come.
right? They get care from the White House medical unit. There tends to be dermatologists from.
She keeps bringing up dermatologists, dude.
Neurologists who come through here.
What's her thing with
Who come through
dermatologists?
here
Say
because
something else.
the
Say like
White
an
House medical unit is indeed caring for folks. So
like an
I have
oncologist or
confirmed
something?
3 times.
A rheumatologist? What else is
I
there?
just cannot get into details or confirm.
Because
a
if
name
I
of the
did,
person.
that would mean I'm being honest, and that is one thing we do not do.
We have to give people a measure of
He would waive
privacy.
some of his